Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel, wishing you a happy and healthy start to this Thursday morning, a Thursday, the day after the FOMC drama. It's time for all the people on Twitter to say, I told you, because they definitely could read the minds of the the Fed members. Other than that, I wanted to come at this analysis with a look at the short-term timeframes, kind of what to expect from a statistical narrative, and then also thread that into the higher-term timeframes, or the daily in this case, as there is another major signal that is brewing that does likely take us into the end of February, maybe even beginning of March. That is suggesting to be looking for a 20% move, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Other than that, I wanted to once again give the spotlight to Bybit. They have their promotion going on for 0% on maker fees for derivative contract orders. It's a great exchange to go get wrecked on. Of course, if you're a more active trader, at least you get to save on the fees there, on a little bit of the fees for the maker orders. I believe it goes for 30 days, but of course, ask them about the full details, and also be aware that it's not available to everyone as well. Other than that, I should also remind myself that if you do find this content valuable or in some way useful, then please do consider liking and subscribing, as it does massively help out this channel. All right, sweet. Let's just jump right into it. Starting off right on over here with the 4-hour time frame HPDR indicator. Yesterday, we were looking at the range highs and lows in this blue area right here, representing the 50% of historical returns range. So yesterday, we were looking at the range, very, very similar to what it is today. But I should denote that because this indicator obviously does, populate each and every next bar, the data does change, obviously. And so while Bitcoin did test the top side of the range, there was no close and break above the top side of the range. So once again, what does this essentially tell us? Essentially tells us that the range is as the range is bent. There has really been no change right here. And the new range top high, indicating if Bitcoin can close back above a breakout, would be about 24,120, and the low in this case would be 22,800. So you can see it slowly start to drift to the upside, which is obviously more bullish than not, but we're really breaking hairs right here. It's a range. It's a fucking range after all, with a median right around 23,500 basically. So if you do see Bitcoin pop back down below 23,500, that's at the point where you probably do expect another return to the range lows. But ultimately, if Bitcoin can close above the range highs, that's going to be 24,120 now. I would be looking for that next leg up, actually into the shallow $25,000 territory. That does still align with the 5-day analysis that we were looking at for the past couple months. Nothing's really changed there. I'm actually not going to update on this particular video. Maybe we'll save that for tomorrow. But of course, that would all be completely invalidated if Bitcoin does close below the range lows at 22,800. You can very likely expect somewhere back down to the mid to upper 21s after that, before the next sort of interim bounce. Personally speaking, though, I do just look at this as, well, it's just drifting to the upside. It's just higher lows and higher highs. Crazy. It's an uptrend, you might even say. Over here on the daily, we do see hidden bullish divergence. Has actually been confirmed as of, I guess this was a couple days ago. I don't look at this as having played out just yet, but that coupled with if Bitcoin can get a fresh jewel light signal, meaning that it gets that positive curvature with that light blue color, that would indicate, again, upside a lot more likely than downside, as volatility is looking for expansion, but a big focus on that a little bit later. Other than that, I'm not really finding too much else on these, on these particular charts. Just kind of the same sort of signals populating. So we got the same sort of hidden bullish evidence on the 12-hour time frame right here, and we'd expect. That if the jewel is going to follow through, the 12-hour would probably lead into that. So you might get an early indication of that intraday here. What else? Yeah, the 4-hour is also doing it as well. So, again, I do still lean generally towards the upside. Referencing stochastic momentum, we can see that on the daily, stochastic momentum will once again cross back up and remain to the upside if Bitcoin can close today above 23,770, currently trading pretty much right at that levels, or about $100 or sorry, about $10 above that level. So Bitcoin basically needs to maintain here or higher by end of day, and that would again indicate that continuation a lot more likely towards that $25,000 region in the near term. 12-hour time frame is also going to be freshly upped as well, as long as Bitcoin's above 23,130. So not bad right there. Whoops, wrong button. 6-hour time frame is going to be also pivoted to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 23,250. 4-hour time frame is going to be pivoted to the upside above 23,400, and hourly is going to be also, no, actually this one's going to be down with Bitcoin below about 20, basically 24. So do keep in mind, however, there's a bit of a trend line regression coming in right here. Although, it is just an hourly after all. So you can see that a lot of those pivots are kind of around the same regions. Basically, if Bitcoin loses, the midpoint of this range, yeah, you're probably in for at least a retest of the range lows. And at that point, does the possibility of an actual short-term bull trap come about with, a pullback first and continuation later? I guess so. In that case, probably looking towards mid 21s or even low 21s, as we just spoke about. Until then, seems to me like still the path of least resistance is probably up and to the right, even though this rally is very, very mature. Like I want to restate these thoughts. This rally is like, if it does have one more leg, I would expect a much greater consolidation after that next leg. And again, into the case of like, mid to low 25 region. But here's the thing. I wanted to talk about another major signal of brewing here. It's going to be the daily signal. It's going to be a daily volatility versus stochastic momentum signature. And we can see that the daily volatility represented by the BBWP indicator right here is getting down towards extreme lows. In fact, it actually just briefly brushed upon there yesterday. But realistically, I want to see it like, get below 10 percentile and then stay below 10 percentile for a little bit of time. So it's building. It's not there just yet, but it's something to be aware of because it's probably going to come into effect. It's probably going to fire off like maybe in like a week or two, and then it's going to take us into probably the end of this month. But why am I bringing this up? Well, because we found from backtesting this one that low on volatility plus the direction of the stochastic oscillator has aligned with some pretty interesting statistics, which will bring you over to here. In the case of an upside move, so that is when the daily, obviously, moves to the upside, but the daily stochastic is pivoted to the upside. Well, we found that out of the prior 14 iterations, which takes us back all the way to like 2017 actually, 12 out of 14 played out in the upside fashion. In that way with that setup, which gives it about an almost 86% win percentage. Yeah, I did mark off here that 4 of them are failures, meaning that they did go to the upside, but it was a less than 10% move. So I thought that was like not relevant. The average move, however, with these ones was 20.22%. And the standard deviation would be about 5.5, and that would give us the first standard deviation, as you can see right here. So upon the time from that signal firing off, it did take about on average 9.25 days for that, for these returns, for the, the end of that move on that, on that current drive. What's very interesting about this actually is that the short setup in this case actually had almost the same average return at about 20.65%, but a lot more failures over here. Anyways, the reason why I bring this up is because we're Bitcoin probably continues to go sideways for a little bit of time, to be quite honest with you. But if it can go sideways without essentially breaking the range lows, you're going to see this reset, the stochastic oscillator that is, and naturally point to the upside. And then when it does, well, there's a lot more higher probability of a move to the upside than the downside in this case. And we can start to play around with numbers, and this is where, we can start to get some extension targets maybe into like early March. But 20% to the upside would put Bitcoin into the shallow 27s. Again, that is the average. There's some variance, but 15% on the lower side would put Bitcoin around 26. So still kind of relevant right there. By the same token, to the downside, if Bitcoin were to shave off like 20%, it puts it back down actually at $19,500. So I think that would be the pullback that a lot of people are looking for. Hey, what's going on there? Get out of there. Get out of there, sir. But yeah, ultimately, in the near term, I don't think that this is super relevant. It's just the longer that Bitcoin holds sideways here without breaking below the range lows, the more that naturally that's going to shift in favor of the upside. Until then, short term, the best that I can do is just looking at this data over here, which kind of says, a little bit of the same thing in the short term sideways and up, with an invalidation basically below about on CME about 23,000. What is this, like 23,200 or so? If you see something like that violated, then yeah, probably coming back down at least to the range lows, similar to what we saw the other day. Then you got to play the game of, is this a break or not? So other than that, I think this is a good place for me to be leaving off. I want to be wishing you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.